Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Waha Rakah Kwedash. Double honors to the men who taught me this truth, the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone. Also, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying. The fate of America has already been set, and the fate of America is devastation, and that devastation shall come by fire. Now, I have a quick, simple Google definition of the words.
Fate.
It reads, the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power. And that supernatural power is the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And the Most High have already created or set or predestinated the fate of America. Now, the scripture tells us in the book of Isaiah 55 and verse 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. And what is the mouth of the Lord? Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. So the Most High, through Yahweh Shai, have put the spirit of prophecy on his prophets. When the Most High wants prophecy to go forth, he put forth the prophets to what? Say before. That's the job of a prophet, to prophesy or to say before. So the spirit is upon his prophets to speak his word. Isaiah 55 and verse 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, void meaning empty, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So the prophets are set up to prophesy against the current kingdom that they're living in. And this current kingdom that we're living in, being the prophets, is America. Now the scripture tells us in the book of Jeremiah 28 and verse 8, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So in these times, the prophets are doing what they always done, prophesy or say before. And we're telling people, whether they hear or forbear, that this great kingdom, which is America, shall be taken out by war and evil and pestilence. And that all equals devastation by the way of 200 million intercontinental ballistic missiles. The vision was given unto John of Patmos concerning the army of the Lord devastating America. Revelation chapter 9. And I'm going to go straight to the point. It says, and the number of the army of the horsemen, and horses represents power. All right. So the number of the army of the Lord, all right, is going to put forth power. It says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and that equals to 200 million. And I heard the number of them. And that army is not talking about horses and chariots running to a battle. That army is speaking of the 200 million missiles that the Most High have put the spirit upon men to create. The book of Isaiah 54 and verse 16, it says, behold, and behold means see or look, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. And in the ancient time, a smith was an individual skilled in weapon making. All right. Now, the modern day smith would be these scientists, the smartest of Esau, such as Teman, and he put the spirit upon them to mend elements together to create missiles. All right. And these are, in these times, intercontinental ballistic missiles or hypersonic missiles to what? Go from one continent to another. All right. And once that missile touched down upon its longitude and latitude, is going to bring devastation to that touchdown point. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy." So even though man have created these missiles, the thought came from the Most High. All right. The Most High is saying it here in Isaiah 54:16. Let's read it again. "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire." So the Most High created the man and gave him the thought to create the missiles. "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument." And what is that instrument? Those missiles. "For his work." And what is that work of the Most High? To devastate the land of America. "And I have created the waster to destroy." And that waster that's going to destroy is those missiles. One would ask, why would America be destroyed? First of all, because the Most High have said it. All right. And secondly, a model or an example has been set of how not to run a kingdom. When you read the book of Jude, verse 7, it says, "Even as Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities about them in like manner," all right, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around Sodom and Gomorrah doing the same thing that Sodom and Gomorrah was doing, it says, "Giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire." And that's the fate of America. It shall suffer the vengeance of eternal fire because it has fallen into the footsteps of how not to run a kingdom. When a model or example has been set of how not to do something, and when you follow that model or that example that has been set of how not to do something, you're going to reap what that model or that example have reaped. In this case, it's suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. And that's the fate of America. All right. And we, being the prophets, should prophesy about this event, which is setting our face against Mount Seir. Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 1. "Moreover, the word of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it." For an example, starting with the apostles and the elders here at Great Millstone on down to brothers like myself, we're what? Prophesying against Mount Seir. That's an example of setting your face, all right, against Mount Seir, which is America. All right. And we're what? Foretelling the fate of America or the future events that's going to happen to America and why it's going to happen. Verse 3. And this is what we're supposed to say. "And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power." See, these are the words of the Most High. "Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee." So the Most High is saying through his prophets, I am against you. "And I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And the words of the Most High shall not return unto him void." If the Most High said he's going to do it, he's going to do it. The scripture speaks about the Most High is not a man that he should lie. Verse 4. "I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord." See that? Here is one reason why he's going to do it. "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred," meaning an everlasting hatred, "and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end." Verse 6. "Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. So if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. So the words of the Most High shall not return unto him void. He hath put the Spirit upon the prophets to give you warning before the destruction come. That's the balance of the Lord. All right. Now, the prophets are compatible to a watchman. And the job of a watchman is to stand upon his watch on the watchtowers, meaning stand upon high so he can see afar, okay, which is the danger that is on his way to the kingdom. And the watchman is supposed to blow the trumpet. And the only way you can blow the trumpet if you have the breath of the Most High, or the inspiration to blow the trumpet. And that's what we're doing. We're blowing the trumpet. Now that sword is on the way. And the ultimate sword is what? The intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right. Whether you hear or forbear. All right. And if you forbear, meaning you don't hear, your sword is going to fall upon the land and your blood is going to be upon your own head. But if you take heed, or if you believe the sound of the trumpet, which is us telling you that America shall be devastated, you have a chance to take cover. You have a chance to prepare. All right. And that preparation comes by you taking the Lord as your refuge. All right. Hiding in the secret place of the Most High, because that's the only protection that we're going to have from this devastation. All right. And before the ultimate devastation by the way of 200 million missiles, is going to be a sequence of events such as the almighty famine, power outages, martial law. All right. Just to name a few. And we're going to need a protective hedge to make it through those sequence of events. All right. And once the ultimate destruction happen, which is those missiles being shot upon the soils of America, Yahweh Shai is going to come and deliver those that have been predestinated to receive him, and for him to receive them in that time. All because you took heed to the message. All because you had the ears to hear the sound of the trumpet, all right, or the sound of the warning. But America shall be devastated by the way of 200 million missiles. The scripture says in Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5, it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, such as swords and javelins clanging up against shields. All right. Any weapon that was used in the ancient times, in the time of war, that's that confused noise. It says, and garments rolled in blood. A lot of blood shed upon the land. It says, but this, meaning these times that we're living in, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right. And the term fuel of fire is in an ancient book like Isaiah. So Isaiah is what? A prophet. He's seeing a future time. And that time that Isaiah is speaking of is right now. And that burning and fuel of fire is going to come by the way of intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right. That's what's going to devastate America. All right. Just like the vision that Joel received in the book of Joel chapter 2. And I'm going to go straight to the point. Joel chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, a fire devoureth before them, all right, which are the missiles. And that's talking about the nuke head, all right, where the power lies. It says, and behind them a flame burneth, which is the thrust that makes the missile an intercontinental ballistic missile, which gives the missile the capability to go from one continent out of the Earth atmosphere back into the Earth atmosphere to its touchdown point. And that touchdown point is going to be America. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land, which is America, is as the Garden of Eden, meaning America is somewhat a paradise. All right. That's what that represents. It says, and behind them a desolate wilderness. So after these missiles touch down, America is going to be a vast desert. All right. It says, yeah, and nothing shall escape them. The only ones that's going to escape this total destruction is the elites of Esau and the elect of the nation of Israel. Esau is going to escape because they're going to be the first slaves in the kingdom of heaven. Like Apostle Gabal always say, like the scripture said, their first job is going to be burying dead bodies. All right? The angels are going to help us when we come back down with Yahushua to search and seek out these devils, to put them in hardcore bondage for 1,000 years. And after that 1,000-year period is up, they're going to be done away with. We're going to gather them up in a big bonfire and do away with the cancer of the earth. Never for them to come back into power again. All right? But America is going to be devastated and is going to be made a vast desert. All right? For America never to gain power again. The book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 5. For her sins, meaning America, hath reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Verse 6, reward her, meaning America, even as she rewarded you. All right? You reap what you sow. Remember, sit if thou hast not hated blood, because you shed the blood of the saints, roughly paraphrasing Ezekiel 35. But this time, as the scripture says, and double unto her, double according to her works. The things that you performed is going to come double upon your pate, meaning it's going to come double upon the top of your heads, starting with the elites, all right, which is the head of Esau. It says, in the cup which she have filled, fill to her double. See that? How much she have glorified herself, and America has glorified itself, all right? Self-glorification, all right? And lived deliciously. And we see how these Edomites are living, all right? It says, so much torment and sorrow give her. So we see how these Edomites is living deliciously. That same way that they're living right now, the scripture says, so much torment and sorrow give her. So it's going to be equal of how they're living right now. They're going to receive the sorrow and torment, how they're living deliciously right now. It says, for she saith in her heart, all right, the mindset of these elites. The word heart means your mind, all right? It goes back to the word lob in the Hebrew, all right? When you read Obadiah, it says, what, who shall bring me down to the ground? It says, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. This is the mindset of these Edomites. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she, meaning America, shall be utterly burned with fire. So that's the fate of America. It's going to be devastated by the way of 200 million missiles. That's going to create that lake of fire, which shall be in America. Malachi 4:1, for behold, the day shall come that shall burn as an oven. It says, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Call Halal Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahushua, Waha Rakha Kwedash. Double honor to the apostles and elders who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, I hope that this made sense and that this was edifying. Shalom.